We are back in Planet Zoo with another speed build video today where we are creating a habitat for an animal out of the newish, I said newish because it's been out quite a while now, tropical pack, and that is the Fossa, which actually not cats. It still blows my mind that, but yeah, they look like a cat, they act like a cat, but they're actually not cats. If you didn't know that, that's your fun fact of the day. Yeah, we started off building kind of like the foundation of the main viewing area with these mesh fences. Now you see, I literally just said they're not cats, but you get the point when I say this. This is kind of like a big cat enclosure. You see this a lot in real life zoos, and I've created a few as well on the channel. And I love to use mesh pieces when doing any big cat enclosure. So that's what I did. This is, like I said, this is going to form the main viewing area. I'm going to have separate viewing areas. We're going to have a separate one where the guests can see the animals sleep. We're going to have this one, what's going to lap around the outside of the building. And we're going to have another external one where there are going to be education points and there are going to be some donation boxes, just to make it all functional. And if you do want this, as always, Steam Workshop link is in the description if you want to download it as a blueprint and bang it in your own zoos. See, I'm just finishing off the front now. I always do this, do like one big module piece, and then it's really easy to duplicate over and copy over. You see, we're just playing about with different fence options here. I really wanted to give it the kind of temple Indonesian theme still. So the theme of the tropical park, but also have modern elements, hence the mesh fencing and stuff like that. So I think I do pull it off. You can see me just playing around with loads of different variants, and I do actually change this fence. Obviously, this is the fence what separates the actual fence to the animals from the guests, so we don't get our little kids poking the fingers through and getting the arms bitten off by our lovely fossas, because you don't want that in any zoo really, do you? Just duplicating that over, like I said, it's nice and easy now, and I can rotate it and line it up exactly how I want it, just making my own life easier. And I do suggest doing this, just make one piece and then you've pretty much made all the pieces, and it's much more easier to put everything together towards the end. Where you can see this mulch, there are obviously going to be foliage in this mulch, just to add a little bit of foliage. I always say it, foliage is king in Planet Zoo. Add rockwork and foliage and you've got a full functional habitat. This is how it came out looking. You can see I've added the path as well, but I've changed the fences to bamboo. I just feel like it looked more tropical and more better. I've also added some foliage pieces around this caged area. And then these are the temple pieces what I was talking about. These are the Indonesian temple pieces, and I think they're the default colour. You can recolour them, but I've not. I just left it default to give that Indonesian kind of vibe going on. And yeah, just playing around with it, seeing what looks good, and then creating this separate viewing area, what I have mentioned. And again, with the mesh pieces, kind of like at an angle and going over, so you can see top down as well. And then we do that, this kind of vibe on the other side as well to keep it symmetrical, but we make sure that's glass, so stick around to see that. And I've used these metal pieces as well and recoloured them to green, just to give the impression of the same kind of theme throughout the build, which I love doing in my builds. Now, by the way, if you do want, I've got a lot of tutorial videos on Planet Zoo. If you are looking and wondering how I create stuff like this, I have got a lot of tutorial videos. But if you do want like me to stop during speed builds and give tips and pointers and show you in real time how I create stuff, if it's going too fast for you because it's a speed build, let me know, because it is something what I am considering doing. Obviously the videos will be a little bit longer, so if you prefer to watch the longer videos, then yeah, let me know in the comment section below. Or do you like just keeping it separate, tutorials to speed build videos? I am actually going to skip forward in a couple of minutes to me building some live stuff and to going over stuff live, because I do change this habitat quite a lot, and for me to record the whole lot, honestly this video, you'd have been sat here for days watching it. Yeah, I kept like turning my PC off, coming back to it. I built this habitat over about 2 weeks just by leaving it and coming back to it, because I really didn't know where it was going. But we got there in the end, just lacking inspiration lately, I think, and I don't know why. With a new pack out, normally I'm full of inspiration, but this time I'm not. This is how it came out looking when the whole foundation building was in. So we've got the hard shelter in, we've got the viewing area, what you saw me create at the start, we've got the separate viewing area and a fence, and then we just need to build another viewing area with glass on the other side. But I'm quickly going to show you how I place habitat barriers. A lot of people ask me, or they'll download my blueprints and they'll be like, how the hell have you put the gate in? How do you do it? Where the hole is in the actual hard shelter, that's where you put your gate. And then you just wrap a null barrier around it. I'm doing it quite neat. You don't even have to be this neat. But if you was to download something like this off the Steam Workshop page and other people's creations as well, and they've not got the barrier already in, this is how you do it. You literally just wrap the null barrier. Don't worry about your animals escaping. You've got solid brick pieces and solid mesh fences, especially in this habitat, which will stop them escaping. And then you just line it up. You can see me just neatening it up. Again, you don't have to do this. And you just join it on. And then once you've got a full, perimeter of null fences, you're good to go. Right, I brought you back, but as you can see, quite a lot has changed. Now, let me take you through what has changed. So I went and changed the ground paths to these kind of like temple cobbled paths. I just thought it suited it and looked a little bit better. You see, I've also added more foliage around the cage and around the walls at the back. And then I added a load of foliage on the inside. It was quite simple foliage really. I started off with the little grass pieces, then added some logs and some rocks. You can see here I've added this gate as well. Now I spent a lot of time detailing this habitat, so I didn't want to have a full speed build segment of me creating everything, because this video, no lie, would be about an hour long. So this is the gate I created, and all I had to do was transfer it to this side, and we've got two gated areas now. So it gives the impression that our zookeepers can lock off different areas at different times. And due to the fact that we had one viewing area on the other side, which is made out of mesh, and then this mesh fence all the way around, I kind of wanted like a private area for the fossa. So I just added some glass and a barrier here. So obviously this is a one-way glass. I'll just show you. There you go. So our fossas will have privacy, but our guests can still see in and watch them sleep on these hay bales. On the left hand side of the habitat I created this. Now these are custom walls, and inside there will be like a staff viewing area. I think our guests are going to be able to get in here as well, so you get another viewing area. As you can see, I wanted to create a lot of viewing areas for this habitat. We've obviously got the zookeeper hut there as well. Now I love these walls, what I've created. I just think they really suit and they really go. So let's have a look how I did it. I started off with an on the grid piece. In this case you can see it is a concrete wall. Now you can use any piece as long as it's on the grid and it's on the same grid as what you've built the rest of the on the grid pieces for. I hope that makes sense. But yeah, if you want to learn how to actually create custom walls and to effectively use them, I've got a tutorial on the channel. But with this one piece, all I had to do was start building it up how I wanted it to look. So I added these kind of like green panels at the bottom. These are the stained panels, and they've come in the tropical pack. And then it was just a matter of building up the actual main foundation of the wall. And I did that with, again, the stained pieces from the tropical pack. Put them on a slant to give a unique look, and then just topped them off with some footers and some headers. Well, that's what I like to call them anyway. Duplicate them over and you end up with something like this. You can see I've added a roof as well and added some of these. These are actually the habitat, I think they are, yeah, habitat bedding, and I've put these on the top just to give it the impression that leaves have fallen off some kind of plant and blown onto the roof. It's these little details what really make habitats come alive. And before I jump back into another speed build segment, I'm actually going to place down some plaster pieces in here because I think it just look better. So let's type in plaster, make sure we add it to the same group, lower it down, let's have a look. Does it look better? Yeah, it does look better. It transitions well into this ramp and then into the green area. Right, let's jump back into the speed build segment and get building again. Well, I started off with these glass panels. This is going to be an inside viewing area. It's going to be where our guests can come in, but also our zookeepers can come in and enter the zookeeper's hut to the left, but also see our animals are actually doing on the right hand side through the glass panels. Have a check up on them, and then they need to go in the super cut. They need to go into the zoo, can't talk today, into the keeper hut and get anything for the animals they can. Obviously, this doesn't actually work as a function, but yeah, I did. Again, realism. I love going with realistic aspects when I build anything. And then at the top, I started creating this mesh pieces. Once again, with the same theme. I've got the same green metal pieces and the same black mesh pieces. And we're just going to cover the top. I contemplated on creating some kind of roof. But I really just think this worked out better. Again, giving it that big cat enclosure vibes with a lot of mesh with it on the sides in the main viewing area as well as on the top. So yeah, I know I've said big cat a lot, and I know these are not actually cats, but I'm sure you understand what I mean. And then just lining everything up, and then as with everything in Planet Zoo, once you've got one side, you've got every side. You just need to duplicate them over and drag them over, just like so. Line them up. It was a little bit fiddly to line up. The axis was just not playing. But yeah, I was just a little bit of patience and just kept persevering and got through it in the end to create this kind of like aviary style top for this habitat. And with that being said, we're nearly on complete. But what we're going to go into now is the actual roof around this. And you can see I just filled it in. Well, I'm going to be honest, I filled it in flat first and I thought there's just not that much difference to this. I can't explain it. I just looked at it and thought, this does not make me happy. This roof is not making me happy right now. Something needs to change. So I added kind of like another layer. And I tend to do this a lot in my builds. I'll go back, look at something, not really like it, so I end up changing it. And then, yeah, this is what I did. I wanted a thinner roof as well, which you see me do then. I put on the grid pieces and then put plaster pieces over the top and then deleted the on the grid pieces to get a thinner roof. And then I thought, right, I need like a skylight. This has got to be, I need some more brightness in the interior of this habitat, the hard shelter part. So we added some plaster pieces around the edge. I'm just trying to gauge where to add the glass now. And we do end up adding glass. I've added skylights in a lot of builds like this, and it just gives the impression that natural light is going to come in during the day for these animals, whether they be inside or outside. They've got enough hard shelter, they've got enough shade if they want it. So yeah, I wanted to add some more natural light coming in. And from an architect point of view, I'm not special architecture or anything like that. I just think it looks better to give different height variations within a habitat. So you got like lower, medium and high in this. There's like 3 tiers, 3 different layers, if that makes sense. And then just filling in the gaps now and finishing off the build. So there we have it, the habitat is nearly complete. I'm going to take you inside to show you what I've changed and what I've added. You can actually see through the glass paneling here what I've done. I've added these fabric things, I'll just take you through. I've added these like kind of like draping fabrics to kind of like, I'm not going to lie, I struggled a little bit to come up with an idea to separate the inside from the outside. Obviously we've got this mesh, so this counts as outside, but I wanted a little bit more privacy. I didn't want more mesh. I thought this habitat had as much mesh as it could possibly handle. So yeah, I've never done this kind of style before, and I'm not going to lie, I'm not too sure about it. I don't know if I like it or I don't like it. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. But yeah, I might change it, I might not, I might leave it. But yeah, I've just added some more foliage and I've added some little climbing frames. So we've got one what goes onto the inside there as well, just for the enrichment for the fossa. But very simple and very effective. You will see around the edge as well, I added these just like I did in this part over here. I'll just remind you and take you in. Again, just giving it the same kind of look, and it gives the impression that the fossas cannot get at the wall and you know, tear away wall pieces and hurt themselves or damage the habitat on the inside. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to chuck those fossas in and then leave you with some clips of them roaming about and enjoying this habitat I've created for them. As always, if you want this habitat, my Steam Workshop link is in the description down below. If you're new around here, hit that subscribe button. If you did like this habitat in this video, hit that like button, and I will catch you in the next Planet Zoo video.